What up, everybody? My name is Wrath. We are back. We've got Fred, Shifty, and Mr. Pickles here. We are in Under the Table. This is where we break down the campaign, talk about the game, the session. Any questions, Q&A from you guys, from the players, from me. We didn't get to do a whole lot this session. I didn't plan for the whole session to be combat, but that's the way it turns out. It was first combat, trying things out, learning, looking stuff up. It turned out that way. I don't plan for it to be this way all the time, but we started out with combat. You guys started out attacking the creature that flew out of the bushes, only to find an elf and to lose that creature and to be attacked by 4 bandits. Also, Chison says Panpour sucks, by the way. So
clarify, it was not an elf on the shelf.
Wasn't an elf on the show. Oh yeah, and you guys found out that well, Grunkle doesn't know, but you guys found out that Wylfer is an elf.
Yep. That's
so
gonna be awkward.
We'll open this up. Who wants to start? Anyone have anything they want to kick off? And
the axe for the dwarf is actually very good. I was very impressed with it. I don't know what was up with the fucking encumbrance thing. That was weird.
Yeah, we'll have to. I don't know. I guess what we'd really have to do is you'd have to go look up each item, look up what the encumbrance is, and just make sure.
I did.
And it is accurate?
I guess. I mean, I've got one extra than I probably should have, I think. Hang on. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Gonna update you real quick, Wrath.
Yeah.
The border around my camera doesn't reach down to the bottom of the camera.
There you go. Let me do this math.
What? Oh.
It doesn't reach the bottom of the camera.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. How about now? I think now it does. Anyways, okay, so encumbrance was fucked up. Anyone else have anything they want to talk about? Pickles, you're deep in thought. No one?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about everything that happened.
I should be at 10, but it says 11 for whatever fucking reason.
Showing me 10.
Yep. It says 11 for me.
Shows me
Whatever.
10.
Alright, whatever.
Okay, well, I guess this is the shortest episode of Under the Table.
I enjoyed the game. Different system, so it's all new to me anyway.
Yeah, and unfortunately, all you got to do is combat, so that's kind of unfortunate. But there'll be more.
I mean,
I'm glad we got another player in. I think it's gonna be awesome.
I think, and Pickles and I have talked about this before, but when you only have one player versus 2 versus 3, whatever, it puts a lot of weight on that player or players to carry the game. And like, oh, now I have to come up with something because Torvekek just came up with something. Now Grunkle's like, okay, I have to come up with something to keep the story going and keep. But now you have another person to kind of bring in and rely on to be like, yeah, it takes some of the spotlight away from the 2, but in some instances that can be good because it gives you more input to go off of. So when it does get back to Grunkle's turn, whether that's in combat or not in combat, when it gets back to Grunkle's turn to respond, he has more to yes and rather than just one person.
I'm not sure if it's considered an ability, Chison, but I really like the extra +1 that I get for parrying or dodging.
Yeah, that is cool, and that is from your lightning reaction, one of your talents.
Yes.
Yeah, one of your talents is called lightning reaction, and it gets you an additional action point to be used specifically for, which I believe you did get to use once, right? This combat?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Which is nice. So that way you can use all 3 action points to like supercharge up, get your attack, and you still know you'll be able to parry something.
Yeah. I'm not sure if there's anything I would have changed, Jason. I was actually quite satisfied with the combat. I think everything.
Well, hang on. Before we start pushing, let the other players talk.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I want to. Chison's asking questions, so I figured everyone can answer. Pickles or Shifty, was the question. What are your favorite abilities you can do?
I've only used a bow. That's as far as I've gotten during combat.
I don't want to give away stuff about Shifty's character, but he does have
I'm
access
gonna-
to other stuff, which we
I'm
haven't
gonna
gotten to
keep
dabble with
myself
yet.
secret until the next
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I will say Shifty didn't use some of his actions that he could use, but I think we need to research that a bit more and understand it a bit more, so that way we can do that. So Shifty and I, we hang out a lot. We'll work on it and get familiar with it, so we can do that in the future. Pickles?
I mean, I guess Run Amok would be my favorite ability so far. The ability to have a sudden charge that is more accurate than a standard charge.
Mm-hmm. It does give you a boost. The standard, well, you can do both, I believe. It's not one or the other. You got to do both. You charged with
Yeah,
Run Amok,
I get
and so you
a
get
bonus 2 charges.
Yeah, so the extra to the D6, and you got, I think it gave you a plus 20%
Yeah,
chance
plus
to
20
attack.
accuracy.
That's big. I mean, a plus 20, that takes 2 action points to get a plus 20 with Take Aim. You just get it.
Yes. Yeah. I guess I'm just comparing this to my experience with other D100 systems, where generally you're like at a 60 to 90 skill like range, so that you know certain skills that you're good at, you'll be doing well. And so it's a little bit of an adjustment here, being like, all right, so I don't have anything above 40 by default. I have a few special skills that are up to like 50-ish. And so it's hard feeling like
You do lack
powerful
that,
in a
but your
sense.
brawn bonus is higher than everyone's.
That's true. My brawn bonus, that really clarified that actually is doing something.
Yeah.
Because
that-
until you witness it in game, it's like you see enemies who have attack skills that are like wildly higher than your own, and they're just standard bandits in the forest. It's like, okay, maybe I'm not hot shit. But then it's also like when their damage like threshold is the same as yours, or maybe a little bit higher. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm not a husky ogre. Why did I put husky down? I'm barely gaunt.
Oh.
And so I guess it's sort of an adjustment for me trying to temper my attitude, is being used to something which is a D100 system that's higher than this. It makes me try and temper it. Like, does Grunkle and our crew generally suck? Or is this more of, I'm used to high fantasy or a higher level in fantasy, and we're at this, like, we are in the mud and we're mud level, and it's proper to temper yourself down. I don't know if that makes sense.
And that is why, that's one of the reasons why I chose this system, is because I didn't want D&D where you guys start and you're superheroes. I wanted it to be, you guys are commoners, you're like one step up, you're commoners plus. So like you're one step above common. So where the common people are like, we would just get cut in half and die. You guys are like, okay, we at least stand a chance, you know?
I was just getting bread for the morning. Fuck.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly the way the world is. I mean, someone goes out to the well and is pulling up shit out of the well, and all of a sudden a lion eats them, and they're okay. They can't do anything about it. Grunkle could go get, and a lion tries to eat him. Grunkle will be like, "I'm gonna fight you, lion." You know. Okay. His second question was, is there something about the combat you experienced that you'd have liked changed? I'm gonna start with Pickles on this one because I feel like he didn't like the game.
No, it's not that I don't like the game. It's just it's a little bit of a shock looking at my atrocious percentages here, when I'm used to Bartleby and Mithras having like a 99% devotion, where it's like, no, you have me roll devotion just to see if I get a critical success. If anything, it's more culture shock here, coming from the design mechanism system.
But it is possible, because look at Torvekek. I mean, granted, it wasn't a huge skill check, but he just did a skill check where he had to roll a 99 or less to succeed, because he had assists,
Yes.
because he had, you know, an aim. So it is possible.
And that's where I don't think that I have the right necessarily to answer that question. I feel conflicted by my experience with other systems, with other genres in other systems, that I feel like anything that I say right now is going to sound just out of comparison.
Okay.
I don't think that's right. I might need to think on that before I could answer that.
What about you two? Anything?
I actually like the combat. It seemed pretty balanced, kind of. I mean, it wasn't over the top.
It's pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
So
There's nothing wrong with like the flow of it.
when I first brought these guys out, and Pickles said, "Oh, we're way outgunned." The way this game works, the system works, is that enemies are based on a risk factor, and it starts with, there's two parts to it. There's your tier, which is basic, advanced, or whatever, whatever the last one is. You guys are in the basic tier. It's your first career. So enemies, basic, and then there's three parts. There's low, medium, and high, or whatever. So basic low would mean they're below your level. Basic medium would be they're even with you. Basic high would be, it'd be a challenge. So like basic high, it would take maybe like 1 per 2 of you, right? Basic medium would be like 1 to 1, and basic low would be like 2 to 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That does make sense. I
These
was going to
guys-
ask how you calculate that.
These guys, well, it's in their profile. So if like I pull up, okay, brigand is, these guys were ranked as basic medium. So it's a 1 to 1. There was technically 4 of you, there was 4 of them. So technically it was an even fight.
I mean, you're giving our beloved Alexios a lot of credit.
I am,
And
yeah.
he has values elsewhere. He has values elsewhere, and I get that. It just in combat, he's kind of a butler.
I agree. And I didn't use any of his magic capabilities in combat because I don't fully understand the magic, and I wanted to research it more before I start applying it and doing it wrong. So he
We
was.
can just say that he doesn't want us to know he's magical.
He's used one magic spell in front of you guys, but he
We
did
didn't-
so to save your life, and you guys didn't really recognize it.
Yeah,
So
I didn't realize it was a magic spell. So.
yeah, so it's okay. When I was talking with Pickles about it, he goes, "What? He did?"
Yeah.
So he just used his throwing knives. He used all 3 of his throwing knives, and he really didn't do much. So granted, you guys could almost feel good about yourselves because it technically was more of a 3-on-4 fight, and you guys won.
Yeah.
Well, that was a lot to do with them running for their lives.
Yeah, they all did just kind of retreat when they got their asses handed to them.
Yeah.
I did like that because that's not. I don't think you had to do that in a sense.
I
Like
technically
that
didn't
felt-
have to, but there is morale checks.
That's
and
logical.
there is morale checks, and I rolled based on, where is it? Morale check. A standard roll is one of their companions is slain. So when one of their companions was slain, I did each one of them rolled a resolve check at standard difficulty. 2 of them failed and ran.
Apparently, they weren't so enthusiastic about chasing dude as everybody thought they were.
Yeah. And the last guy succeeded, so I didn't have him roll again until he was outnumbered 3 to 1 or whatever.
Okay,
and then I had him roll, which is the next one, which says character is outnumbered 3 to 1, which he was. He got to that point, so I had him roll a challenging check, and he fled.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So that's where that came from.
Okay. So it wasn't just because I'm a scary ogre.
No,
Never
but
in
I
my
mean,
swamp.
it was because you slayed because you were a scary ogre, you slayed their friend, so they ran.
Yeah. Okay. In all fairness, I think the only part that was like, I've picked a build that conflicts with the way I generally play as a player, is that getting injuries is part of the getting down to grievously wounded or seriously wounded, so that I can activate my barbarian rage.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's the whole point of Grunkle, is that he's a friendly enough ogre until he goes into barbarian rage, and then he gets disturbing for a little bit, and then he comes back out.
And it's not for sure that you'll get an injury.
Yeah, no, it isn't. And
To be fair,
that does help.
You got
I
to
was like, "God,
moderately,
this is
you got to
terrible."
moderately injured, and you rolled 1d6. You got a 6, and that sucked. You got to seriously injured. You rolled 2d6s to get injuries. and you didn't get any.
That is a good point. Initially, I was like, so I take 2 wounds, so I could get theoretically a -6 damage to unlock a +1d6 damage.
Well, it'd also be a
And I was
different
like-
injury.
Yeah, I was just
Right. Yeah. So, but like, I mean, like you said, you got to seriously injured and you didn't take any injuries. So it's not always, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, thank heaven. Like, I was looking at my health, and it's like, wow, I'm getting so close to the bottom of the barrel here. We're just like spiraling out here. I can only take like another hit or two.
Well, to be, I wasn't even going to
so
attack you, and you were like, no, attack me. I was like, okay.
I wanted to get there, but then I didn't realize how painful it would be once I got there.
You're like, I really want to be almost dead. Oh, wow, almost dead is... Oh, we lost Pickles?
Yeah,
Oh,
Pickles just disappeared.
Oops. Okay.
And you moved places.
Yeah, it's when people
Places.
turn their
Now I'm
cameras
red.
off. Yeah, when people turn their cameras off, it fucks up my shit. So that's why I always get pissed when you guys do that. But, okay. Is there something that could have been done that would have made the game more fun for you? Maybe not spend the whole thing in combat. That would have made it more fun for me, but that's not really up to us.
I much
No, I-
prefer the
enjoyed
talking and roleplay rather than the fighting, but that's just me.
Oh god, now he's gone, and now all my cameras are fucked.
God.
Sorry, stream.
It's gonna look terrible.
This is just the way it's gonna look. I look great.
Yours
You guys look
looks
terrible.
alright, but it's fine. I'm in. Wait, hold on. Here.
There you go. Now you're in your spot. Fred's in his spot. You're the only one fucked up.
Hey!
Okay.
There we go.
So you enjoy more of the role play and stuff, and that's fair. What about you, Shifty? I mean, this is your first game, so
I enjoy both roleplay and combat, so I'm not.
at least you're
What I
in a
played
D&D
yesterday
game.
was quite good.
Yay. Was
Yeah,
there
what
anything-
I played today was quite good.
All right. So the creature that ran out, and none of you guys could recognize what it was. What do you think it was? Fred thought it was a goat.
Goat. It's definitely a goat.
Shifty, what do
Yeah, I
you
was
think it
gonna
was?
go with goat as well.
It was
Can you describe what
it
it
was
looked like? Because I did kind of walk away.
it was on all fours. It was gray, and it had horns on its head.
It was a deer.
It was a rhino, but it's got the 2 horns.
It's a rhino.
It's got the 2 horns. It's a baby
You
rhino.
didn't describe a size. You just said it was there.
It's a baby rhino, so it's little but trilby.
Oh, it's a baby rhino.
Yeah.
Okay.
It came stumbling out. It wasn't good on its feet, and then it got up, got slashed by Grunkle, and then took off running. But the thing is that Grunkle isn't native to this land, so that's why he had to roll a hard check. Whereas Shifty and Torvekek are native to this land, so
Torvekek spent 90% of his life in a hole in the ground.
well, maybe that's why you didn't know it was a rhino. Shifty has been
Exactly.
living next door to it for however long, and he still didn't know it was a
Never
rhino.
seen a rhino. Never
Yeah.
seen a rhino before.
Thanks, Tiger. So yeah, that's what that was. It was a rhino, and to be fair, I had what did I have? I had 3 parts to today's game. I had 3 parts to today's game, and you guys got to 1. It's just
That's
the way it
usually
works.
how
Yeah,
goes. That's
combat
usually how this goes with one sessions.
combat works, but
Well, I mean, it was also learning the thing.
it was a lot of learning and like what you guys could do with your action points. Like I
Oh,
think there's
Pickles in
more.
the streaming room too now, by the way.
Oh, is he? We'll pull him back in.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I just have to, close my cameras, move him. There we go. And then reopen cameras. There we go. Hey,
Oh,
everybody's back where they belong. So there's more stuff you guys could do with your action points as well that we didn't really get to play with. Like called shot, cast magic, chokeholds, dirty tricks, disarms, knockouts.
Oh god, what happened there?
What is happening?
I'm watching stream.
Everything's going fucking wild.
Pickle is
Yeah.
back.
Takedowns, inspiring words, litany of hatred, subdue. There's so many other things that you guys could use your action points on that didn't, we just didn't play with. But maybe in future comments you can be like, why don't you try this? Or if you guys don't, that's fine. Maybe my enemies will.
I got what Tiger was getting at with that. What he said.
I meant Shifty. Oh.
Nice.
Fair enough.
When
Never
he
mind.
said I was in the top left corner.
The top left corner was looking at me. Bango. Wasn't it only half your head? Half your face?
That was the full camera when he said
arm.
Oh. Alright, Pickles, we were talking about the creature that came out of the bushes at the beginning. What do you think it was? It was on all fours, stumbling. It was gray with horns on its head.
I mean, based on the roll and the failure to get a success, I'm assuming I'm not supposed to know. So I would just
Oh, do you not
guess.
want to know? Okay, no one tell him.
I just assumed it's a goat, but
Okay. Grunkle thinks it's
that
a goat.
it doesn't. Okay.
To be fair, so does Torvekek, and we don't. What did
I thought it was a deer.
Wylfer thought it was a deer. That's right. So that's what your characters think it is. And then we were talking about.
So if it's not a goat, then it's not a goat. He would know that. So he just thinks
It's a different kind of goat. It's a new goat. Oh no,
Different kind of
they've
goat.
evolved. they're expanding their army. The goats. Shifty. It became canon that the dwarves are at war with the goats.
Oh, of course.
Yep. For some reason, I don't even remember how that became canon, but it is now.
Because they're encroaching on their territory. Because they're
yeah.
going to climb the mountains, and on the mountains are the mines.
Yeah. They're having dinner. The dwarves are in there having dinner, and someone's stomping around there on the roof, and they're like, "Ah, god damn it!"
The goats.
It's the goats. And then I was talking about action points. It'd be interesting to see. There's a lot of different things you guys can use action points on that you guys are like, oh, aim and attack, aim and attack, aim and attack, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was aiming and attacking. But I'm curious what would happen if you use other stuff like subdue or take down, like you just knock them to the ground, and like in the instance where you guys finally got to like flank. It'd be interesting, like, if Grunkle knocked him over and then Torvekek got the bonus on the attack or whatever it gives, It'd be interesting to see, like, team tactics and stuff come in where you get to do stuff like that. Any other thoughts?
I'm pretty much good.
Okay. Not a whole lot of roleplay, not a whole lot of progress, but we did get through our first combat, got to learn a little bit about it, try it out, test it out. Basically, we got to do the combat tutorial that I was trying to do anyway. So there you go. All right, we'll end it there.
It was a great introduction, though.
It was what? Sorry.
I thought it was a great introduction to the game. So.
It was very. Yeah.
Excellent.
Guys come stumbling out of the woods. Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, looking at Pickle's face when I was like, and that little gray creature is Shifty's character. Pickle's face looked so pissed at me. He just looked so mad at me, like, I'm done, I'm not playing this game. When you just hacked into it.
That felt very cruel.
Hey, Pickle,
It would
you have some fur on the camera.
Fur?
Fur from the cat.
Is that what that is? I was wondering what that was.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she likes to touch it with her tail. That's what she does.
So, yeah, I thought I was just saying it's a joke, but I looked at Pickle's face and I was like, yo, he's about to quit the game right now.
Well, I felt really bad for Shifty. That's like such. I've learned that lesson the hard way a few times myself as a GM. It's just really bad for Shifty right there. I was like, God damn it! I've already like injured you. Why are you gonna want to work with us? Why, like from a roleplay perspective, you got to be like, well, fuck these dickbags, and I would have to own it and be like, yeah, I'm a big old dickbag. Oh,
could you imagine? I said that. I'm like, yeah, you slash into his roll a d10. Let's see where you hit, and Shifty's just down there with no reaction. He's just like. I just got cut in the side.
I would have felt very bad.
I'm dying.
I would have thought it was really funny if that really was Shifty's character and he's down there reacting like, like you dick. I haven't even had my turn to act yet and tell you, hey, it's me. But how funny would it be if his character comes in as like your mount. Like it's not even a playable character. Like, he's like, I'm playing a horse. That's my character.
I'm playing a horse.
But
If
nah,
you give me a sword, I'll be a horse with a sword.
yeah, he's not even a centaur. He's the horse.
Just a full horse
All
with
right.
a sword in his mouth.
Let's wrap it up. I know people got to go. So, quick shout outs. My name's Wrath. Thank you for joining the stream. I'm going to let these guys do their shout outs and talk about the stuff that they do. I stream here on Twitch. You can see it. I'm streaming. But if you want to catch more streams, I stream kind of almost every day. There really isn't a set schedule, even though there should be. I stream a lot with I stream a lot with Shifty. We're gonna hear more about him and what he does, but we stream a lot together. So if you want to see more of what we do, pretty much catch us almost every day. Fred, I only get to see him every now and then here for D&D and potentially some extra armor stuff coming. We'll see, depending on my availability. And then Pickles, I'm gonna let him talk about the stuff that he does, but you'll see us gaming together every now and then. We do stuff like RoboQuest, which we were playing earlier today, and then we've got a bunch of other games on our list that we want to play together. It's just kind of as the availability allows and kind of as Pickles' mood allows. Is really, I think that's, yeah.
The second part's really the big one.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for me. If you guys want not safe for work content, you can go over to the Instagram at WrathDaddy, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Fred, do your shout outs.
Exist.
Perfect.
Again.
Pickles, your shout out.
I do a podcast called And I Took That Personally that's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor FM. That's it for now. We talk about movies. It's with my good friend Brad. We talk about movies and we take it personally, and it's maybe funny, maybe just something to put on to listen to. You know.
What's it called? Is it on Spotify? Give me a
Yeah, it's called And
Oh,
I Took That Personally.
It is very good.
They've got 3
Have you
episodes
only
out now.
seen the-
Have you listened to all 3?
I have listened to 2 of the 3. I don't think I've seen it.
Okay. Yeah, they did release. You did release your 3rd. I'm not being wild, right?
Yeah, no, that's the one where I trash all of my friends.
Yeah, that's right. He came out with his new one where he just shit on Wrath for half the podcast.
Okay, but
He did, and I was listening to it in my truck as I was driving, and for 30 minutes I was like, "Fuck you guys! Like, what the fuck?"
Son of a bitch.
They're just like, "Yeah, fuck anyone who doesn't like this movie," and like told you that they didn't like it, and I was like, "That was me. I'm that guy."
that
What
episode
movie?
though,
What movie was it?
it's called A Town Called Panic.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
It's a French stop motion animation movie. So the second
good
half of the
lord.
episode is why we're like, the first half we're like, so this is why this is a great movie, and people are stupid if they like, oh, it's too simplistic. We go over that.
To be
But then at
fair,
the end of it, it's
Chison
like,
did
yeah,
admit it was more him that did it, and it's true. But I was laughing.
Yeah.
I wasn't actually offended. I was laughing, and like Pickles is about to say, in the second half, it came around. It's worth listening.
yeah, we explain why somebody would be like, Pickles, this movie's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chat does say, I've heard great things about Pickles' podcast. Very engaging and entertaining, and the host
That's
sounds
Brad.
super hot and sexy.
That's Brad,
It is Brad.
my co-host.
The other guy in the
Well,
podcast.
co-host to me.
But yeah, I've listened to all 3 episodes now. It's great. I've enjoyed every single one of them. It was really interesting because when this concept was first brought out, Pickles approached me with it. And I basically told him, it's not really my thing. Which is fair. I didn't want to ruin his podcast because if I was on there talking, I'd be like, yeah, I don't really care. And that's not really good for a podcast. Yeah, it didn't go well. So I told him, no, I'm good. And so when he released the podcast, I was like, well, I'll support you. I'm gonna go listen to it because I want to support my friends. You're creative, you're making something. It's just like, you started a business, I would go shop at your business. You started a podcast, I was like, I'll go listen to it. I was in my car listening to his podcast, and by the end of it, I was like, I laughed so fucking much, and like I enjoyed it, and I was talking along. I'm in my car, like, yeah, that's right, like, and I was like, to the point where I was like, even me, who has no interest in the concept of this podcast, it's not for me. Even I'm listening to it, engaging and loving it, and having a ton of fun. So I was like, that's a good sign that I'm like, yeah, people would like this. So there's my Yelp review.
Yeah, I'm glad you Yeah, I'm glad you like it.
I'll give it a check out next time I'm at work.
Yeah, I don't know why people like podcasts, so it feels hard to me to like try and sell a podcast when I would not listen to one myself. But
Oh, it's the same way. I didn't understand podcasts at all. I was like, who the fuck are you? You're not important. Why am I going to go spend an hour listening to you talk about your, like, I don't give a fuck what you think. And then I started listening to podcasts, and I was like, oh my god, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Oh, I figured out why people listen to podcasts.
Yeah. No, I was like, I don't know why, but I do. But to be fair, there are some that I'm just like, this is so fucking annoying. I can't.
it seems very easy to fall in that category. But now to throw the spotlight over to Shifty.
Oh, right,
Sam,
shit.
do you have like
Shut out,
don't
shut
you
out.
do
Yeah,
something?
I've got like
You do
a YouTube channel at Shifty Games and a
Yeah.
like Wrath said, I do streaming as well with mostly with Wrath, also on my own time because I'm a Kiwi, so when I do my streams in the afternoon, they're asleep. So if you can catch me on Shifty_Games because apparently Shifty Games was taken, but I'm more popular.